What are we doing here, hon?
We are in the tomato cage area, and I wanted to do an update. It's July 13th. The tomatoes are doing very well, but they are kind of on the verge of unmanageable, and they're doing some funky things. So I just wanted to show you some of the funky things that they're doing. So one funky thing that's happening, it has to do with the trusses of tomatoes. So here's a truss of tomatoes, and it's growing a new shoot at the end. So it's like an armpit at the end of the truss. So I am going to take that off, but I hadn't noticed this before last year. I don't know if this is something that does happen all the time, but I've never noticed it, but I just think it's weird. One thing Jason was wondering, and I don't have a great example, but this is not terrible. So there's an armpit growth here that is pretty big. I've actually tied him up a little bit. I'm going to let him go. But you'll see that it's actually nicely protecting the trusses of tomatoes below. Jason's wondering if it helps prevent the blossom drop to have those trusses protecting them from the sun. So I don't know if anybody has an idea about that. That would be awesome. Like I said, I don't have a really good example because I went through today and cut a whole bunch of stuff, and now there's no good examples, but that's not too bad. One thing that's happened is, because it's kind of difficult now to see the bottom of the tomatoes, stuff like this is happening. So there was an armpit offshoot and it crawled along the ground, it made some tomatoes, and then it started going up, as they will. They'll start traveling towards the sun, and then it just became part of the plant. It got tied up. So it's huge. It's just a sign of sort of the unmanageableness of so many tomatoes close together. This guy is an example of something else that's happening. It doesn't have just one armpit. It's got two armpits gross, which is just bananas. So this is another example of the armpit growth off of the end of a truss. So you can see there, it's actually growing off the end of that truss, and then it's actually making flowers over here. So it really probably does need to come off. At the very least, it's making it more difficult to walk through this particular area. So I think I'll let it get us some scissors in here. Generally speaking, as you can see, the tomatoes are producing. We've had a couple go and turn that we ate, and they were delicious. It was, in fact, from the giant tomato plant that my uncle purchased for $25, so that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Uncle Harry. The other tomatoes really are looking great. I keep harvesting the basil that's planted in between, so that's good. And we've been able to have lots of great stuff there. You can see the trusses are looking pretty good. Steve at Digwell Green Fingers says your third trusses are the best ones. Those are the show ones. I don't know about that, but we do have not because they're not good, but some are better. I don't know. I guess my question is, if that's true, then does it take into account when you let the armpits go? You know, if you let the armpits go, are you still counting those as the third ones? Do you get a really good batch off the third truss of your armpit? Okay, everybody, hope your tomatoes are growing well. Enjoy your week, and oh, my fingers are sort of dirty. Stay awesome! It's a couple days after I filmed the first part of that video, and I just wanted to add this on at the end, just as an update for what Jason has done. He couldn't walk through the garden, this part of the garden. We have a baby rabbit that's getting in on a regular basis, and it's a pain in the butt to chase him through this particular part. So check this out. This is the pile of cuttings that Jason has taken off of the tomatoes. And this is what the tomato patch looks like now. You can see all the way down. There's a couple places that need to be tied up, but yeah, it's really good. I asked Jason why he did all this cutting, and he says he was just tired of not being able to walk through. We're gonna see what kind of effects cutting so much foliage from the plants actually does. We'll see if we get any sun scorch on the tomatoes. They are turning, so it's getting pretty exciting. I hope everybody stays awesome and has a great week. Thanks.